Hey everyone, this is Hill Street Soul, and you're tuned in to The Core with the Millennial Coach, discussing topics on real life. Check it out. Everywhere you go, don't forget the ghetto. Listen to The Core.
What's up, people? It's me, the Millennial Coach. We're on day 3 of love, relationships, and money. So I was going to sing love and marriage, love and marriage. I don't know the words, but that's what I wanted to sing to open the show, but I'm here now. So, thank you so much for tuning back in. I'm glad that we're back together. Day 3. So today we're going to talk about so one of my hot topics, that's what I want to talk about, is the female reproductive system. So let's go. Yalla, yanko. So the female reproductive system, as a hot topic, there's not enough research into endometriosis. Fibroids, they are tumors, benign tumors that grow in women's uterus. The endometriosis is tissue that grows outside of the uterus and gets stuck in different areas. And sometimes it gets stuck in the woman's intestines. That's when it's an extreme case. There's been times that, let me tell you something, I don't know, about a month ago, my friend, I think I've told the story already, but I'm going to tell it again, said, I'll come over, the kids are in Ghana with their dad, and we're gonna buy takeaway. But I thought, let me cook. I've got some ribs in the freezer, and I can make some ribs and chicken and whatnot. So I cooked, got to her house, we ate, we were chilling. I had to run downstairs and vomit. All that I made, I was so upset. So those that have endometriosis, you really do go through the mill. You may even be in pain. You will have pain down your thighs. You cannot walk. You'll be bedridden for days. Sometimes the pain's so bad, ladies and gentlemen, that I can't even get in the shower or have a bath for at least 3 days. Imagine feeling that way. So the female reproductive organs, unfortunately, because we're not men, there's lack of investment. And the reason I'm saying that, I don't see endometriosis fundraisers in London. I see prostate cancer though. I do like, balls, but I'm just saying I do see prostate cancer. So women's reproductive health, it really needs to be revolutionized, and it also needs to be revitalized for people to understand what women suffer. And some people have laughed when I've been unwell in meetings. People say, oh, why don't you just cut out your uterus? Or, and I'm just like, this is women to women, which I'm just like, first of all, you should shut your mouth, right? And then men, they don't understand. So it's like a woman said to me, she was so lovely. She goes to me, have you had kids yet? I said, no. She says, yeah, when you have endometriosis, if you had a child, that would be a walk in the park because you've got endometriosis. So that's the level of pain. If a man has seen his woman, whether you're married, you're not married, whatever you've chosen, or even if you've been a donor, which nowadays, I think that's the way forward. Personally, I want to, Shannon, wait, where are you, darling? But if you've ever seen a woman give birth, is she doing it and is she combing her hair and she's watching Housewives, or she's watching something and she's chilling, the baby just pops out? No, she's not. She's screaming her lungs out. She's in pain. Her whole vagina is expanding beyond, looking like Pluto. And she literally wants to punch your lights out, right? And then some women have to go through C-section. Some women have high-risk pregnancies. And the thing is, a lot of people think women don't, so they meet you, right? They'll meet me and say, oh, one girl said, oh, some people just choose not to have kids. I said, what do you know about my life? If you've gone through endometriosis, some of us or fibroids, we've had operations. Do you know that takes almost 2 months to heal? They are removing tissue. So reproductive health, a lot of women have started websites to teach and educate other women. And I don't know if I've got it up here. It's called, let me see. I really want to find this book now. Female Code, I think. Well, I can't find the book right this second because I'm going to be wasting time. But there's a woman called Heather Rodriguez, Heither. She sells supplements to help women get pregnant. She's helped a lot of women who have gone through IVF, it's failed, and they've had endometriosis, and she's helped them through her herbs and her healing. And again, I'm not endorsing people and getting paid for it. I'm just trying to help people because a lot of people, women, want better experiences with their health. And then if we talk about the disparity of Black women, etc., I have to say this, right? And it's not for everybody, okay? I've had really good healthcare from my doctor. The moment I don't feel well, I'll go there. They refer me straight away. He doesn't, if he needs to see you for an hour, he will see you for an hour. I'm not giving you my doctor's details, so you have to find your own doctor. And this is on the NHS. I have done private, no offense to anyone. In the UK, I think some of the private doctors, they're not very useful. That's my experience. So I'm going where the best people are. And also, you can ask your doctor to refer you to private doctors who also do work on the NHS on particular days in the week for women who are really struggling. You have to look at your diet for reproductive. So that's a hot topic. Your health is your wealth. Your reproductive system has to be really, you have to evolve your diet. You have to get rid of the processed food. Like I like beef sausages, for example, right? Or chicken sausages. I very seldom eat them because they're processed meats. So I tend to eat fish. I tend to eat a lot of chicken. I like turkey. Listen, Hawksmoor, please give me my friend said to me, do they know how many times you come here? I'm like, clearly they don't. So if you don't know what Hawksmoor is, it is one of the best steakhouses in London. Okay? The steaks, your knife literally glides through the sirloin and the fat, like, I'm literally I'm literally sucking it. And when my cousins or friends come out of me and they're cutting the fat off, I'm like, I'm gonna scoop that up. That's me, right? So I'm just saying, but we have to reduce the red meat, unfortunately. You've got to really think about your supplements. So CoQ10, you can look at taking matcha, you can look at taking ashwagandha, shatavari, have iodine, liquid. Dr. Lugos, Lugos. So I really want to tap into the women's reproductive health because there's a lot we can do to reduce the inflammation. And there's something that I've literally just bought, and I actually think that it's doing something. So what I do before I go to the gym, so this is my medicine container here. Well, my supplement container, because I don't really take medicines. I'm going to show you something. And no, this is the wrong one. And the reason is I just thought that it was really, really good when I could feel something happening in my stomach. And I was like, maybe it's. So before I go to the gym, I was having a conversation yesterday with someone. I said, before I go to the gym, I would actually, if I had it, I would take a spoon of sea moss and just go to the gym. I can't eat. When you're in the gym and you've had, I don't know, a shake, if you haven't given it at least an hour, or you've eaten a banana or oats, give an hour to actually digest, I feel like I'm going to vomit when I'm working out. So this is not, it doesn't work for me. But I've actually found this product. I don't know if you can see. Oh gosh, it's not good, is it? So it's called Suave Essentials, right? And it's got sea moss, it's got turmeric, it's got bladder whack. Um, so I would definitely recommend something like that as a woman. And the reason is if you take on an empty stomach at least an hour before breakfast, for some reason, something is happening down there. You can feel I can feel my body doing something with it. And just one. But I just think it's really, and it's a CMOS tablet, by the way. I haven't bought any gel for a while. So women's reproductive health as a hot topic, it is a really hot topic, and people underestimate what women go through. Sometimes I think to myself, I feel like I've been living in hell on earth, and it's just like because there's so much that I've had to contend with, and as I use these shows also kind of semi autobiographical, I can like autobiographical. The reason being, I am you and you are me. Okay. There is stuff that I've gone through that some of you are going to resonate with, and there's stuff that I've gone through that you're like, how did you manage? Right. And some of you are going to be like, what? Sorry, a phone call just came through. Um, so I do want to say that the show is for you to really use to your advantage. And also, if you have a partner or a family member who's suffering from endometriosis, uterine fibroids, PCOS, um, any of the above on their reproductive system, we've got to cut out the sugary drinks, the alcohol, minimize the alcohol. Because look, there's nothing, we need a glass of wine sometimes or a glass of something, you know, because we just want to unwind. I love ice cream. Well, gelato, good gelato, homemade gelato. I've got if you don't know Adonno's, honestly, I'm promoting so many people just because I just love their stuff. Oddonos, Adonno's ice cream. They're in Chiswick, because I go to Chiswick to see a friend of mine, and they're in Stoke Newington in North London and Chiswick in West London. They're in different parts of Northwest London. They're in Hampstead High Street, just in the corner in the little alleyway, have the best ice cream, right? So if you do love ice cream, that's my treat. But I have got to look at having it once every 5 months, not once a week like I was doing at one point, because it was just treat myself every weekend. No, it's not a good idea. Our bodies cannot keep up with the level of processed foods that were made that we initially would never eat if we weren't in such a fast-paced environment. What I would do want to say about how we as humans live in the world today, we still have very primitive ways of thinking, being, and living. So therefore, when we have social media, we have all these fast foods and sugary foods. Our bodies were not built for these things. You think someone just wakes up and has a heart attack at 55 or 45? Our bodies are responding to the environment. But again, we will do another situation on health, because I've got a few interviews I actually want to upload with Dr. Samir, a friend of mine who I've been talking to for the last year on health. And because, cancers have risen in young people dramatically, it's actually quite scary. So I think we need to really address the root cause. And it isn't necessarily, oh, we've got so many cars on the road. That is a factor. But what we put in our bodies is another factor. What stresses we have within ourselves is another factor. What anger we don't release is another factor. We have to consider that our bodies are holding so much stuff that if we actually sat down and if we opened our bodies up and we did an autopsy on ourselves, I think we'll be horrified to know what we haven't let go of, who we still hate, who we haven't forgiven, what we have been eating and what it's doing to parts of our body, still smoking. Um, you know, People are taking illegal substances like cocaine. Now, cocaine, if you've ever watched Gordon Ramsay's Uncharted, I think he's got Uncharted Waters documentary. He did a documentary on cocaine, right? And he went to the depths of Colombia. Come and see what cocaine's made from. They put bleach in it. Gasoline, what I'm putting in my car. I will never in my life, I never have, and I never will take a class A substance in my ever. All this fentanyl, anything made with compounded chemicals, you must be joking. I've never heard anyone die from weed. So this should be an indication. If something is grown out of the ground, I'm not promoting it, but if it's grown out of the ground, to me it's more healthy than if it's made in a factory or it's made in hiding. So whatever we're putting in our bodies, understand it can have good consequences or bad consequences. And remember, 30 days is not a long time to transition from one mindset to another. If you're going to transition, it could take you up to half a year to really be embedded in a new mindset paradigm. So you need to really consider what it is that you want for the future version of you, and how do you choose to get there? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to actually bring in, or who do you need to be to get to that version of yourself? So that's my point on reproductive health and general health. So let's get back to our lecture. So we're talking about money, day 3. Debunk the myth of playing hard, or people playing hard to get. So when we talk about relationships, conversations on love, what I do want to say is, so it's twofold of playing hard to get. People saying some people online suggest that it's a myth. I do think it's a myth to a degree, but when a woman in particular, I can only speak from a woman's perspective. When some women, actually, I'm going to speak for the educated, elegantly articulated, but deep down, they're thugs. And the reason I'm saying that because Heather Dubrow just keeps coming to my mind. She is a lady, but she is gangster underneath. So us chicks that are ladies and we're super gangster underneath, the reason we play hard to get is we want to make sure that you're not a mistake. And I hope that you're hearing it. When I've coached boys and they tell me, oh, I've got this girl, blah, blah, blah. They will tell me, I always say to them, describe how the girl dresses, and they'll tell me how she dresses. Describe how the girl behaves around your friends. Describe how the girl intercedes in where she thinks the relationship may potentially go and what kind of behavior she's expecting from you. If they tell me certain things like she's always in revealing clothes, I'm like, yeah, no offense, and I'm not shaming anyone, so don't come and write enough comments on body should know. Doesn't matter if you're size 0 or size 25. Doesn't matter to me. I just don't think when you date somebody of substance, you don't need to have everything on display, because he will enjoy that in your privacy with him, and he could appreciate who you are. So playing hard to get isn't necessarily a woman being challenging, because when you're not challenging, you're too easy. So people just don't respect. There was no hustle for it. Okay, it's like if no one can just buy education. So when you pass your exam and you've been studying day and night, your mum and dad have been bringing you lunch and dinner, your friends haven't heard from you for 6 months, you get that law degree, or you get your master's, or you get your PhD. Do you know how happy you are? It might be a fleeting moment like most of us, but the fact you've achieved it is like, oh my goodness. So playing hard to get is protecting your assets, essentially, right? But I think sometimes they're around younger people, there's an attitude among them that, when the person who cares less wins, you're completely wrong. Completely wrong. The person who cares less doesn't win. Because if you care about something, you will actually dedicate time, you will dedicate consideration, you will dedicate strategy to how you want to move in that scenario. So those people that are just, I don't mind, he can no. And also, to me, your parents haven't done a good job. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to tell you. Sorry to break the news to you, but your parents haven't instilled, what did we say in earlier episodes? The values factor into your life. Because when it comes to relationships, when we lean into love, and if you're somebody who comes or under who's cultivated a sense of self-love, you may attract people that don't know how to love themselves. And I've attracted those kind of people in friends and in relationships. And what I realized in today, that it's not that these people are trying to play hard to get, they don't even know who they are. So there's nothing I can do that is going to change who they are. And to be honest, and I've said this time and time again, this is in real life. Basically, the conversation I'm having with you now is what I would have with you if we were having coffee, just FYI, right? But I'm not looking for a science project. So if you want to play hard to get as a man, then what I would suggest to you, because this is not going to be a 2-player game, it's going to be a 1-player game. If you actually think I'm going to pick up the controls of the Nintendo and play a 2-player game of playing hard to get, you're going to be sitting there for the rest of your life, because I'm not playing the game. We've got to start realizing that some people, no, not some people, we are all on a journey. Some people have made it to the other side. Some people are halfway there. And guess what? Some people are never, ever going to get there. Is that your fault? Not really. So, in terms of love, relationships, and money, the first thing I will say, in order to attract someone and have that level of attachment, let it be in the foundation of love. And if you meet someone and they haven't got money, it's fine. If they're going to make money, stay with them. Not because they're making money, not like that. But what I'm saying is, you love people through their stages, because we're going to be okay. We're going to be fantastic. Sometimes we might go back to rock bottom, and then we're going to be okay again. Then we're going to be brilliant. Then we're going to be, rocketing sky high. But the thing is, those people that know who they are going to take the rough with the smooth in all and any relationship that they trust and believe in. As I said, I'm not looking for a science project. If you don't know who you are, my suggestion, find a therapist. Find out more about yourself. Learn about what's holding you back. Learn about your self-sabotaging ways. Learn about your scarcity mindset. Because everything you do, and this is the thing, if you listen to the show where I spoke about Caroline Mace, my number one, I really would love to be friends with this woman, but my number, as Wendy would say, friend in my head, my number one woman. If you listen to her, you can drink all the wheat or eat all the wheatgrass you want. That doesn't make you an honest person. So this is the reason when people think they're being honest, I think many people lie to themselves on a daily just in order to have this level of societal acceptance, and they do it through how they look. So they want to look expensive or look like they've got the latest this or the latest that, but go to their house and see they've only got one chair in the middle of the room. They haven't got even proper furniture. They haven't even got carpet. But yet they're portraying something outside, because what they're doing is hiding through shame and lack of vulnerability. So when we talk about these things, I think it's really important to understand that relationships, playing hard to get, to me, is women that want to protect, or men that want to protect, the very essence of who they are, not what they've got. One of the other things is when you are entering into a relationship and people talk about who they are, this is why vulnerability is important. Pay attention. If somebody says to you, so I ask questions about how they dealt with conflict in last relationships. And when this guy one time was like, yeah, and this girl, she had kids by 2 different men or something like that, I don't know, and he has no children, right? Then he was talking about the fact that she kept that relationship completely separate and didn't ever talk to him about it, or didn't involve him having secret meetings or whatever with the fathers of her children. And he didn't really understand how they can move forward if she hasn't even introduced them, and because he wanted to take the relationship seriously. Then he was like, and then we had an argument and I didn't even call her back because she thought I was coming back to her. And I just thought to myself, this guy has conflict avoidance issues, but this is down to his lack of self-esteem. And we did see each other, but when I was ready to end it, I just ended it because I just thought, you don't have to communicate. You got a lot of issues that you have not worked through. And this is not going to work for me because I need someone that is ready to have verbal conversation. When someone tells you, and I'm going to really highlight this, language gives you access to communication strategies, right? So if you understand language, you know that you can have a conversation with someone and then you can choose how you want to relay a message. So when I say communication strategies, you might have a difficult conversation you want to have with someone, but then you realize, oh, gosh, okay, I've got to tread gently, or I've got to do it in public, or I've got to cook that person a meal first. Hopefully they don't think you're poisoning them. So you've got to cook them a meal first so you can, just get them in the mood, or give them a couple of glasses of wine because you want to have a really important conversation. But the thing about human beings, what we fail to do a lot of the time, this is why relationships, to me, they don't last long. We choose not to listen. We selectively listen. So someone is telling you that they don't do well in relationships with strong women. If you're a strong woman, your assignment by God isn't to change the person. This is why I keep saying I'm not looking for a male assignment. If you don't like strong women, then I have to say it was nice to have met you. And in the words of Shawnee Henderson, thank you for your services. And that's it. No emotional attachment. Your attachment theory is based off of the fact that you're two humans looking for love, but you have different values and belief systems. That's it. Other things with relationships, and men, take the hint. I had a guy message me about 3 weeks ago and saying, oh, we should meet up. It's blah, blah. And I was like, for what? I had taken this guy to Soho House Cafe for coffee. Come and see how he disgraced me. Talking at the top of his lungs, blaming, life for his not working out. He dressed like he was from Bros. I was like, look, fashion, I love fashion. No, I'm not. Yes, I was judging him, right? But who wouldn't, right? You want your man and you to match in how you look. Come on, let's be real. If you're both skater, girl and boy, you don't want the boy now to turn up in a tuxedo. You want skater trousers, shorts, and skater t-shirt, right? So if I'm a skater, you're a skater, or you do BMX. You're not going to look for somebody who's very suave and is more interested in keeping his trainers clean. That's not the boy you want. So you have to, this is why they say in terms of in Christianity, you need to date equal yoke. Someone who's your equal yoke. It's very important that if someone is not your equal yoke, you either tell them, or unfortunately a lot of us now, it's easy to ghost people. But if you're the one being ghosted, take the hint. Take the hint. Do not invent a ridiculous reason why, I couldn't because my... No, just tell them, listen. And the thing is, you can just say, listen, I don't think it's going to work out. But I haven't spoken to this person for over 1.5 years or 2 years. You're messaging me saying we should meet up for a drink. I didn't even respond. I didn't respond then because, again, there's people that go online, they portray themselves as somebody, and when you meet them in real life, it's a completely different version of who they are. And I'm not looking for a fantasist, I'm looking for a realist. So just want to highlight that. So that brings us to the end of today, the core. We're talking about love, money, and relationships. So it's just today is about how to communicate effectively and knowing that if you are seeing people that may come across as hard to get, a lot of us women, honestly, it's not that we're hard to get, we're protecting our hearts and making sure you are the right selection, because we cannot now come and bring you to my dad and be explaining why you're an idiot. No, I'm not doing that. We spoke about listening. Listen to what people truly say and do not shy away from it. We talk about red flags, but let's talk about green flags. If a man says he loves treating his woman nicely, listen, when you're dating, you are not yet that person's woman or man, So let me just throw that in the mix. You're not yet that person. So be aware of what they're saying, because actions are a result of thoughts and behaviors. So whatever their thought is, their behavior will dictate, and that will create the action. Remember. So I want to thank you for watching and listening and vibing. And please, I'm begging you, subscribe. Help this African child get more subscribers. We need to blow up, blow up. We can go back to Ghana. So you people are doing dirty December. You go to Ghana, you ruin the country. You're now making prices go up. Stop going there. Go listen. Rwanda is a clean country. It's apparently doing very well. Go to Rwanda, or go to Why don't you not try and cultivate Nigeria for a bit? Like, show people how to, Davido, come on, do party in Nigeria. Let people come there for December. People coming to Ghana, blowing stuff up, man. Not in that way, but you're blowing up prices, you're making things expensive. You people, you wasn't interested in Ghana 10, 15 years ago. Now you're ruining it for the ones that want to go back and just live a quiet life. So please, stop it. Okay, so this helps me. So just subscribe, share, and like.